Hi, welcome to Excel Island. My name is Sheriffdeen. I'm a top rated plus freelance data analyst on Upwork. So if you are new to the channel, if this is your first time coming across my channel, so I'm doing a live stream for the next 100 days, learning SQL using my Datacamp subscription. Today is day 17. Immediately I complete a couple of lessons today, I'll be on 17th day streak. So I'm going to 100. So welcome to the channel one more time. I'm a freelancer and I'm top rated plus on Upwork. I also freelance using the Mojo website and LinkedIn. So if you're interested in freelancing or you're finding it hard to navigate the freelancing world, I encourage you to purchase a course by my coach, Benga Debiyi. You can find the link under the YouTube description. The name of the course is Freelance Clients Magnet Course, which teaches you how to become a top rated plus freelancer, become top 1% freelancers in the world, how to freelance on remote job websites, how to freelance on LinkedIn or Fiverr or any major website that you can freelance in the world. You also learn how to price different pricing strategies to price value for your service. So there's a price section also in that course. And you also get weekend support, like a community weekend support directly from the instructor, the course instructor. His name is Ben Gadebi. So you can check the link in the YouTube description. I leave a link to his Twitter account, so you can check him out there and see the testimonials from thousands of students that has helped to upscale their freelance business and career. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's section. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and support the channel by subscribing to the channel. There are also some links under the YouTube description. If you wish, you can support the channel through those links. So every day before I begin a new lesson, I always have one or two weak areas to review. So let's review some place together. So as suggest based on my learning circle, I always get places to review so I can have a good understanding of those concepts. So I just review two places, set theory for SQL and introduction to inner joins for SQL. I'll just quickly review that before we move to today's lesson. So you are working with the venues, cities, and countries table. So this is the venue linked to the cities table based on the city ID, and this is the cities table linked to the countries table based on the country ID here. So what is the output of this code? So select star from countries, union, select country ID, name from cities. So what union does is it looks for matching records. So countries and cities. So these two tables. I'm selecting star from countries. So it's selecting the country ID and the name. But these two columns match. So union will only look for matching record, just like inner join. Union is like inner join in SQL. So I know if you have just one ID column returned, then one name column, since names are here. Okay, we have ID here. I'm expecting ID and name. So you are only even going to be expecting one ID column, countries and name. Since there is name here also, there is name here also. So is there any ID? No way. This is not correct. We're not working with the venue table. The ID, name, country ID, matching records. This should be the correct answer. Yeah, that's because start from countries. We only have two columns in the countries table. So this may confuse someone that we're not getting all the and from the This is symbolic calling on country ID and name, which can be pretty confusing also. This is country ID is the ID record here. So we are able to return the ID column based on the matching records on the two ID tables. So the first few rows of the keepers, players, and captains table from a database about the Indian Premier League. So first few rows, this is the keepers table, this is the players table, and this is the captains table. So what is the output of this code? Select captain as name from captains, selecting name from captain, union all. So union all is going to return all records, including duplicates. So select players from players, then limit 5. So captains and players. So we're expecting it to return all the records. Captain as name, players from player. We have captains, Chopper combo, Abatan, Johnny, Chopper combo. So this should be the correct answer. This one is the keeper's record. The last keeper, we are not working the keeper's record. It's between this and this. Abatan, Johnny. Hmm. We are having Abatan, captains, Johnny. Ooh, I missed that. Okay, the players and keepers table from of names are shown below. Select the code to return the output. Okay, players, headshot, combo, maybe the zeros. So we're going to return star dividend of keepers there. Returning keepers, intercept. So there's an intercept here. This is not players, we're not selecting players. Why is the first record that was selected? Yes, so keeper is keepers. Honestly, they didn't name it, so it wasn't named. That should be correct answer. This set operation will combine the table. This should be intercept. Yeah, we get this result. The first row was here. Oh, this was when I missed them. So you know, oh, we're supposed to return all duplicate records. So let's take a look one more time. If this is not correct, so this can be correct either. So suppose this and this from keeper coming from this one because there's no you're already selecting for captains and players. So Abadjan Singer Johnny there's some captains, some players Chopper. This is confusing. Chopper Kondi Makodi. Union oh. And now you got to pick from players from captain record first. Then from players. We're expecting some okay feels. Got it. This is day 17. Let me review this last section before we move to the next lesson today. So start. I can't see the record. What is the type of relationship between students and classes? That is not loading. So come on. So good. A query has been started to join the venues and cities table from a database about the Indian Premier League. So okay, select star. So select star from venues as V. So you now join cities as C on that should be the correct answer. Good. This is meant member. I can't see the table. I've come across that before. It's not always showing the table they are trying to. So the song release and listening tables are shown. The release table contains exactly one release date. The release table contains exactly one release date. For each song in the songs table, the listening table contains information about the listeners and all the songs they have listened to. Each of the following table have one-to-one relationship. The release date, the release table contains exactly one release date for each song. One release date for each song. The listening table contains information about the listeners and all the songs they have listened to. So listening, so that's the songs and release and songs. The listening table contains information about the listeners and all the songs they have listened to. One-to-one relationship. We have the song and release. Because listeners contain all the listening table contains all information about the listener and all the songs they have listened to. So if different listeners could have listened to the same song, that will be duplicate record there. So you are working with the venues and cities table. Venue name, city, ID, name, set the code to return the output. Okay, let's see that. We have name and venue name. So select city's name, city's name, the venue's name. This is wrong because we have this venue dot name. So this should be. So the answer is between this and this. So let's check closely. We have the name column returned. We don't know from which side. So I'm guessing city dot name as name. In our join, let's see the difference between this and this. City dot name as name. Venues dot name as venue name. From cities, in our join venues on cities dot venues cities dot id on venue dot city id. In our join venues venue name venue underscore name city name. So there is a difference somewhere. So try to figure it out. Only the name from the cities table and the venue name from the venues table. So this is the correct answer. Name, name, name dot name as venue name. This is the correct answer. Is the alias. Wow. See, the alias says as name. The alias says as city name. All we have here is name. That's the correct answer. Shown below is a preview of match and match captains. Match and match captain. Select the code to return the output. Team ID, team ID, ID, match ID. There's team ID here, there's team ID here. You see the team ID they are matching 2244556622. So that's probably inner join. This is inner join here, there's inner join here, and there is inner join there. So let's come down and look closely. So team ID from the match table, the team ID from the captains table. So for match as M, this is the match captains. Now join match captains as C on. So this is where we are going to get this on clause. Match team ID equals to captain's team ID and ID. So the IDs are also matching here. 8989. This one is saying where the ID is not equal to this one. So this is wrong. Where the ID is not equal to this. So this should be the answer. Yeah. So that is the little discrepancy there. So I've reviewed my weak areas one more time today. I'll just continue with the lessons. So yesterday, after the live stream, I was able to complete where clause subqueries in the where clause, and I did a couple of query code you could see. So I was able to solve some entirely by myself, like this building subqueries in form. I got the full points for solving it. For this, I didn't get the full points. I took some hints from there, from the hints manager. So today I'm moving to subqueries in the select. So sorry, subqueries in select. So we're having subqueries immediately after a select statement. So let's listen to that.
So far, we've covered the use of simple subqueries in from and where statements. Subqueries can also be included in a select statement to bring summary values into a detailed dataset. Subqueries in select are used to return a single aggregate value. This can be fairly useful since, as you'll recall, you cannot include an aggregate value in an ungrouped SQL query. Subqueries in select are one way to get around that. Subqueries in select are also useful when since, as you'll recall, to bring summary values into a detailed dataset. Subqueries in select are used to return a single aggregate value. This can be fairly useful since, as you'll recall, you cannot include an aggregate value in an ungrouped SQL query. Subqueries in select are one way to get around that.
You cannot include an aggregate value in a single SQL query. I'm trying to understand what she said there. Can I include an aggregate value in a single SQL query? Okay.
Subqueries in select are also useful when performing complex mathematical calculations on information in your dataset. For example, you may want to see how much an individual score deviates from the average, say, how much higher than the average is this individual score. Including a subquery in select is fairly simple and is set up the same way you set up subqueries in the where and from clauses. Let's say we want to create a column to compare the total number of matches played in each season to the total number of matches played overall. We can first calculate the overall count of matches across all seasons, which is 12,837. We can then add that single number to the select statement, which yields the following results, or we can skip that step and following result 1,837.
Select count ID from match. Just count all the rows from the match table. Okay.
We can then add that single number to the select statement.
So select season, count ID as matches. 1, 2, 3. Wow. So the single value that was returned earlier is now added as total matches from match. Let's see the result first.
Which yields the following results.
Select season. So we have different seasons selected from our match table. Then count the ID as matches. And 1, 2, 3, and this record as total matches. Oh, okay. Because we are returning same thing for each season, but that's funny. Each season, that means there's in each season, the total match played in a Premier League season is probably the same thing. Go by season. Okay.
Or we can skip that step and add the subquery directly to the select statement.
This makes sense now. So select count ID for matches as total matches. Okay. 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 Let's see.
To get identical results. Subqueries in select are also incredibly useful for calculations with the data you are querying. The single value returned by a subquery in select can be used to calculate information based on existing information in a database. For example, the overall average number of goals scored in a match across all seasons is 2.72. If you want to calculate the difference from the average in any given match, you can either calculate this number ahead of time in a separate query and input the value into the select statement from the average in all seasons in a database. Based on existing information, select can be used to calculate information based on existing information in a database. For example, the overall average number of goals scored in a match across all seasons is 2.72. If you want to calculate the difference from the average in any given match, you can either calculate this number ahead of time.
Select home group plus away group as goals. Home group plus away group as minus. Okay, where the season is this? But there's a where clause there also. Selecting 2011-2012 season.
Okay. In a separate query and input the value into the select statement. Or you can use a subquery that calculates this value for you in your select statement and subtract it from the total goals in that match. Overall, this second option can save you a lot of time and errors in your work, and the results you see here are identical to calculating the result manually. There are a few unique considerations when working with subqueries in Select. The first is that the subquery needs to return a single value. If your subquery returns
just like the where clause, subquerying the where clause also returns a single value that you can use to manipulate your outer query. But subquery in the from clause is different. So subquery in the from clause can return a single column, a double column, maybe a triple column also. But the examples I did yesterday, we're returning two columns. Like subqueries from the where from in the from clause rather, not the where clause. So the where clause returns a single value. Subqueries in the select statement also return a single value. Okay,
multiple rows, your entire query will generate an error.
so
This
a single value will not return multiple rows or even multiple columns.
your entire query will generate an error. This is because the information retrieved in a select query is applied identically to each row in the dataset. And that's not possible if there's more than one unit of information. The second thing to keep an eye out is the correct placement of your data's filters in both the main and the subquery. Here's the query from the previous slide. Since the subquery is processed before the main query, you'll need to include the relevant filters in the subquery as well as the main query. Without the where clause you see here, in the subquery, the number returned would have been the overall average across all seasons rather than in the 2011-2012 season.
So what is return the overall average for all season in the first place? Select average on group from March where season. Now we are comparing a particular season there. But I think she mentioned earlier all season. Let's see.
Okay, let's practice a few examples of subqueries in the select statement.
Yep. Let's practice some example. So we have here, so subqueries in the select statement generate a single value that allows you to pass an aggregate value down a data frame. This is useful for performing calculations on data within your database. In the following exercise, you will construct a query that calculates the average number of goals per match in each country's league. So this is the league table, this is the match table. So the first instruction says in the subquery, select the average total goals by adding home goal and away goal. So in our subquery, this is subquery. Here is subquery. Select the average total goals. So I'm going to be selecting average total goals. So average, select AVG. AVG, average total goals.